Forgive your enemies, but never forget their names.
La historia me absolverá.
History will absolve me.
If you live among wolves, you have to act like a wolf.
So this weekend I invited Fidel over for a dinner party. I know he can be kind of communist-y, but I'm trying to be a good neighboring country and lead him in the right path. We've had some issues in the past, like when his preceding rebel president Grau ended the Platt Amendment. Baptista brought it back. Then Fidel ended again, but things could only get better, right? I have so much going on in Cuba economically right now, I really can't lose that.
Honestly, I hate John. I'm so glad President Machado ended the Platt Amendment. The only good thing that bill did was take the United States medical supplies. But I'm not trying to have the US Navy always coming over uninvited and thinking they can take over whenever Cuba doesn't protect life, liberty, or property like the US wants them to. When President Baptista was in charge before me, the US controlled 60% of our industries and 95% of our crops went to them. That's not a healthy relationship. John and I were so close, but I was totally used, and I promised I wouldn't let myself or my country be hurt like that again. So when I was having a hard time, I got a lot closer to Khrushchev. He's so funny, and we saw eye to eye on a lot of things, and he supports my ambitions, and he's more willing to help me end private industries, and I'm not going to be another President Baptista rigging elections and letting the US walk all over me.
So, I've just been waiting for Castro to finally end relations with the US. He'll call me over and be yeah, we're over. But then he'll go back and have these secret meetings with JFK, and I'm just over here hello? I'm ready to come in and help with Cuba's economy. So, here I am, sitting by the phone every night, waiting for Castro's call, and finally he calls me and invites me to this dinner party. Of course I'm gonna say yes, but I hope he doesn't invite JFK. I'm not trying to have any capitalism-loving president ruin my alone time with Fidel and spit in my food. I'm really trying to show him the communist way of living. And it's hard when JFK is whispering in his ear all about capitalism and free market economics and how important it is to have the US in his country.
All I'm saying is that if he starts nationalizing industries like the Soviet Union, we're going to have major probs. President Baptista understood me better than Castro. He got how important our relationship could be if we remained commercial partners. But when some of my people started some trouble in his hometown, like drug rings and organized crime, but nothing big really, Baptista's friends got a little pissy and were I heard it through the grapevine, John is just a gold digger. Baptista never really left my side though, but Fidel has. That's why this dinner party is so important. I have to keep him by my side.
Hey! Oh my God. Thank you so much for having us.
How could you?
It's not my fault you didn't pay enough attention to Castro.
What is he doing here?
Oh please, John, you didn't know I wouldn't invite him.
There was a no +1 on the invite.
Well, I'm here now, and I'm with Castro.
America has helped Cuba thrive. Castro, what are you going to do about this?
What am I gonna do? I'm gonna do whatever's necessary to ensure equal opportunities for my people and independence for my country.
With help from me, of course, I plan to benefit from the sugar industries that your country backed out of.
Shut up, Khrushchev. Your country is dying from the losses of World War II. You're using Cuba just to gain power.
Well, did you expect us to accept the Marshall Plan to rebuild our economy? You are the enemy. You make us look weak. Your way of helping our economy was just the same thing that you did with Cuba.
Yeah, you just interrupted our domestic affairs and tried to make us loyal to you.
You are weak. Listen, Castro, you can't keep nationalizing your banks and country any further. The Platt Amendment was meant to help you. If you and Khrushchev get any closer, I'm going to put an embargo on the sugar industries and cut off ties completely.
It doesn't matter. We demand independence. Besides, Khrushchev is more willing to help us end private industries. The ending of the Platt Amendment was the best thing that could happen. It promoted an awakening of communism and it ejected the US.
Believe me, I intend to help Cuba reach its full potential, and together we're going to rise in the ranks militaristically and economically.
That's it. Get the hell out of my house.
Alright, but don't mess with me. We're in your backyard now.
USA! 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 Of course I'm upset Castro won't continue the Platt Amendment. Now I'm completely out of Cuba and I lost a huge percentage of my assets in foreign revenue. But of course I can't show my frustration. I don't want Castro or the Soviets to know how much of an economic impact this has on me. With the end of the Platt Amendment, I now have to look out for 2 more communist countries, especially one with the weapon potential for warfare. If the Platt Amendment had remained in place, the U.S. could still be trading with Cuban sugar industries and have a steady economy.
This is the best thing that could happen. I don't care whose feelings were hurt. America is out and Soviet Union is in. It's time to continue our plans for nationalization, to create a truly independent, equal country. I know Khrushchev has our back.
Honestly, I was bankrupt after World War II, and now that I'm commercial partners with Cuba, I get my money back. Also, maybe a new place to hold weapons. We'll see.
USA! 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 We're done here.
Yeah, that's good.
The Platt Amendment was added into the Cuban Constitution as a result of American pressure and was ratified in 1901. The amendment allowed U.S. occupation of Cuban ports as naval bases and allowed the U.S. to interfere in Cuban government. The amendment was almost completely nullified in 1934 under negotiations of Roosevelt's Good Neighbor policy, although Guantanamo remained a U.S. base in Cuba. The amendment may seem like a trivial U.S. power hold on a small country, but the amendment inspired great effects. As commercial partners, the U.S. and Cuba both had a thriving industry and tourist-based economy. While both sides made money, freedom was more important to Cubans. The amendment signified the power struggle Cuba faced and was also an inspiration for revolution. The Platt Amendment sparked waves of communism and revolt. As opposition to capitalism grew, the U.S. placed embargoes against Cuba, which for economic reasons pushed Cuba into the arms of the Soviet Union. If the Platt Amendment had remained in place, the U.S. and Cuba could have maintained economic relations and held steady economies that could have prevented the Great Recession by balancing international trade and creating a source of revenue to support the lax lending standards in 2007. Also, if the Platt Amendment had remained in place, the U.S. could have prevented one of the greatest national scares of all time, the Cuban Missile Crisis. Today, the U.S. and Cuba are negotiating commercial trade again and working towards progress that could have been achieved in the 60s if the Platt Amendment had remained in place or some other form of relationship.